Hello YouTube, I am Armoury Reviews 1, or Tom, and today we have my #1 best graphic novel that I've ever read. Leading up to my Comic Cash tomorrow, which I'm quite excited for. So yeah, this is my #1 ever. It will probably stay that, to be honest, even after I've read Watchmen, which is over there somewhere. It's probably going to stay my #1. It's just so good. So, it's this. I don't know if any of you would have guessed this. You probably would have, seeing as I do sort of have that horrible. I do genuinely love this book. It is so good. And there are so many things that make it good. That's the other thing. It's not just one standout thing. #1, that instantly makes it a hit. Saying that on the side. His design, even the Guy Fawkes mask, it's just so fitting. Which, as they sort of mentioned in the valorous visitation of a bygone vexation. That was the movie, they said that. In this. So yeah, there are certain things I love about the way this is done. Every chapter is him setting up the dominoes. So the next chapter, or every book, sorry, not every chapter. So the next book, he's slightly further on. The next book is somewhere along here somewhere, I think. And he flicks them. That's so clever. And in the movie they even do that while Finch is talking. You know, he has him lining them up. So yeah, the next thing is the theatricality and the design is so amazing. This actually is one of the reasons why I like the movie quite a lot. You see him flicking the cape, doing the hand gestures and the face, and just moving. You don't really get this in there. You don't really get that in this, but you can see him flaying his cape in his hand, looking quite theatrical. So yeah, it's just, and it fits so well with the design of using a hell of a lot of shadows and black. So this is a really complex story. It's quite hard to understand. It took me 2 reads. I read it once and got most of it. I read it again, got a bit more. Which you could say is a bad thing. And you can. But is the fact that there are so many stories happening at once that all matter is brilliant. There's quite a famous scene, actually. That was in the movie. It looked very cool in the movie. But apart from how it looks, and all of the characters like Finch, Creedy, Adam Susan, he's called in this, although I do prefer the name Sutler from the movie. He's really interesting in this. He's not... In the movie he was just a totalitarian leader. In this he has serious psychological problems. And it's quite interesting to watch. And watching Evie and Gordon and how they all interact with each other is just really, really interesting. It's also interesting to see how everything connects, whereas everything looks quite random at the start. By the end you realise everything is really connected, and there's a reason for everything that happens, which is completely who V is. you do learn V's origin, but not right at the start. It's not chronological, not in that way. There's a lot of flashbacks, which again is quite telling of his psychological problems, which are many and quite strong. So yeah, he is really, really interesting and really dark sometimes, quite literally. This isn't a book for young readers, for a couple of reasons. Number one, the stuff that happens is not for young readers. Number two, I don't think people too young will be able to understand what goes on in this at all anyway. So yeah, there's a lot of issues tackled in this. Like genocide is quite a big one. The idea is that the government made a plague and a cure, and that was how they got into power. Just quite drugs, obviously control by government. It's really a corrupt police. That's a very, very big issue here. So yeah, it's really, really interesting and really unique. That's the best word I can put to this. There is nothing else like this. It's about propaganda and freedom and liberty and justice, but that's, I won't say that. That's too much of a spoiler. If you haven't seen the movie and you haven't read the book, and you just think that everything he's doing is about freedom and justice, it isn't. There's a lot more to it that makes it very interesting. So you hit sort of a certain point in the book, and your perception of everyone changes through one sort of revelation. And also, you follow it with Evie. You see how V is, and you learn about him through Evie's eyes. Which is quite interesting, because you sort of find out things as she does. It's really good to follow a character. So yes, another cool thing is that at the back of the book you do get a lot of concept art, original pages, original designs for people, and an even cooler thing is that at a certain point there's even a bonus story that happens somewhere in the middle of the book that isn't necessary. Like, it would break the pacing a bit if it was in it, which I think is the reason why it was left out. It isn't that necessary, but quite nice to read anyway. A lot of the... Actually, Alan Moore wanted it to be in black and white originally. I'm quite happy that it isn't. I think the colour really adds to the theatricality. This is a really nice page. All of his concept pages for the cover. Obviously, that's the final one. So it could have been done in black and white, but you don't get these little highlights that you do when it's in colour. So yeah, the other nice thing is it's like proper pages. It's not shiny, which, if you've been talking to me about comics, you know is a complete, like, 100% sell for me. Unlike Watchmen, which I was quite disappointed to find out has shiny pages, and also really thin pages. Same guy that wrote it though. There's two Alan Moore books. There's a third. I have all of these sitting next to each other on my shelf. So yeah, I don't really want to say much about this, because there's so much in this that that you want to find out for yourself. Otherwise it does really ruin it for you. I don't want to spoil any of it. And I will say on the side of this, this is a very good adaptation. There are some inaccuracies, and there are some things that are completely changed, but work. They are there for a reason. Hugo Weaving's voice fits V very well, and the whole sort of again the theatricality, the flaying of the cape, the way he walks through the elevator. You see the foot hit the floor, you see the cape flay open, you see the button flicked up. Works so well in film, which it doesn't really work in here. And like when he's been shot, when they're shooting him in the basement, and he goes down, he looks up and goes, "My turn." And then you see him sort of flick the knives open. It just doesn't work. In that, the fight scenes are pretty bad actually. It's not about fights, but the ones that are in there, they're not that fun to watch, whereas they really are good in the movie. So, like most things actually, I'd say get them both, watch them together. They fit each other very well and they work together extremely well. So I've been Armoury Reviews 1, or Tom. Buy V for Vendetta. If you don't, I don't know what I'll do. I will make you. I will. Yes, I've been Armoury Reviews 1, or Tom. I'll be back for tomorrow for my first comic cache. Thank you for watching.